जय हिंद, जय भारत एंड वेलकम टू डेफ टॉक्स. दिस इज आदि अचिंत. आइए समझें जियोपॉलिटिक्स को एक भारतीय नजरिए से.
So India has a mindset where it hits, it punches below its weight. We have to punch not above our weight. We have to punch not below our weight. We have to increase our weight and punch the post.
ये हमारा सिद्धांत है. हम घर में घुस के मारेंगे.
You know, victims of terrorism do not sit together with perpetrators of terrorism to discuss terrorism.
Happy Sunday, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. हमारे साथ today we have Miss Joyeeta Basu, who's from the Sunday Guardian, who's going to help us understand with her experience that can Modi Saab actually play dirty politics? Because what we see around us is politics on pretty much everything. If tomorrow a fly flies by in the parliament, there will be politics. If there is a bird that does its business on the parking lot, it will be politics. It's become like that. So let's try and understand, can Modi ji also respond in the same language that he's hearing? Namaskar, man. Thank you so much. Lovely to have you back.
Thank you, Aadi, for inviting me to this show. It's very popular. I can see from that viewership the last time. It went really
Thank
viral.
you. Yeah. Ma'am, tell me, what do you think? Let's open up with a basic sort of a thing. What do you think about the election? Is Modi ji actually so weak? Has he lost his game? Has he lost his way? Or is it Gujarat, the third term, where the same narrative was actually put for him? What do you think?
Well, what happened in the elections? If you remember, I had said, I was hearing both sides that the seats may go down to 240 level, and some of them were saying that they might go up to 330. So I did not want to stick my head out and predict. But it seems what happened in the elections was that, first of all, complacency. That was, whatever you might be talking about, caste division, whatever be it, there was too much complacency among the BJP leaders, their cadre. People were not even going out and getting the vote out. All that did not happen. Number two, there was anger against sitting MPs and all, which perhaps the BJP understood. I think they changed around 43% of the candidates. And the other thing that actually hurt them a lot, or I would say in this case, they even beat them, particularly in UP. This Samajwadi Party in particular, Akhilesh in particular, played very good, what we can call caste politics, social engineering. And of course, there is some talk about, and yes, the lies really helped the Congress and Samajwadi Party in UP in particular in certain areas. It did not have that kind of an effect maybe in states like Madhya Pradesh or Uttarakhand, and all the lies that were spelled out about the Dalits, of the reservation being removed, the constitution. It did have an effect in particularly eastern Uttar Pradesh, in Purvanchal particularly. But beyond that, not so much. Social engineering played a role, and something that we cannot possibly say in this, but why might as well say it? It's a democracy after all. There was some sabotage that happened. I'm certain you also have heard it about it. And yes, we have also heard about it. Say, for example, in what happened in Amethi, I'm hearing that local administration did not help Sriti in any way. So, so yes, some sabotage also happened.
That's a very interesting, and thank you for actually, spelling it out, because a lot of people have said this, and
Not been
I
talking
think
about it.
we need to call the spade a spade, and that's something which is very very important. But we see this series of lies continue. It's not that it has stopped after the election. The lies are going on, one after the other. It's like rapid fire. So that means this whole plan was ready. That's what you can make out, that this whole plan was ready, that we will take this, do this, do this, do this, do this. These are the kind of lies that I will come up with. And you can see them not hitting the target but disturbing the wave somewhere or the other. So what do you kind of see from the first few days? Probably it's just been a month since Modi ji has taken charge. Probably another 2 days, it'll be a month. How do you see this game going forward now?
Well, what I can say is that you see, the opposition is desperate and they have smelled blood. Let's put it this way. So
Hmm.
it is going to get increasingly, I would say, too much deceit will come into the discourse. It has already has started. And let's not kid ourselves, because Rahul Gandhi can do anything. No, I mean, whatever we have, I mean, okay, he's the leader of the opposition, and in a democracy, you need an opposition, a strong opposition, but it has to be constructive opposition. And what I find extremely interesting, and at times I would say very saddening about the situation, is that, the opposition is bent on destroying everything. I mean, how is it that right in the first session of parliament, in the first speech of the prime minister, the leader of the opposition is encouraging his party members to disrupt the speech? What sort of democracy is that? What gives the Congress, which has actually got 99 seats, the right to say that, you see, the government does not have legitimacy, so we can do anything? What gives the Congress the right to believe that it has the legitimacy? If it had the legitimacy, it would have won 240 seats and not 99. If you look at Congress's performance, it has performed shoddily in lots of states, many states. It
Yeah.
has been wiped
Zero.
out, say, from places like, hmm? so,
Zero, ma'am.
so,
Straight off.
yeah,
Certain
yeah.
places is zero.
And the minute they start saying that the government does not have legitimacy, then the tenure that, Manmohan Singh ran his government, that too did not have legitimacy. You are delegitimizing your own government. Because what was Manmohan Singh's number? At its highest, it was 206.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was something in the range of 145 and all. So to say a government that has got 240, and if you look at India's political history, it is only rarely that any government has come with the full majority. It is just that our expectations were so high, and that also, to a large extent, it was the BJP's fault, that they kind of made people believe that they will be getting in the range of, forget about 400, 300 was a given. And because the BJP had so comfortably got those into 2014 and 2019, those numbers, 282 and then 303 on its own, that is the reason why our expectations were too high. Because if you look at it in isolation, in the context of India's political scenario, India's history of coalition politics, 240 is an excellent number. 240 is a very good number. So to say that the government does not have legitimacy, and so whatever we can do, the people will accept it, I think it's a case of Rahul Gandhi in particular, I would say. He is reading the electoral verdict wrong. He is interpreting it wrongly. And let's also not kid ourselves into believing that, this is an attack against the BJP as such. It is not. It is an attack against Mr. Modi. I'm certain Rahul Gandhi and company would be very happy to have someone, they see as less threatening to be the prime minister of the country, but they don't want Narendra Modi. So this particular attack, whatever that aggression that you are seeing, it is solely directed at Mr. Modi and nobody else. It is not even against the BJP.
I look at it in a very
And what?
interesting. Please, please.
No, please, yeah, please continue.
I look at it in a very interesting way. When you see the attack, they're basically trying to delegitimize the person, right? They're trying to say,
Yeah.
and you can see that actually permeating into the BJP support base as well. When you look at it, oh, I've lost hope. Oh, I've lost hope. Oh, I've lost hope. Most of these guys that are saying, if you go down to their profiles, social media profiles and stuff like that, you will see which side of the game that they are in. Because this is sort of a game that they are playing right now, and the question is, how long do you think they'll be able to pull it off, considering the record of the opposition being, if I say wishy-washy, that will be a compliment to them. They've been all over the place with everything. Right now things are sticking because there is a bit of a jhatka on the other side. a bit of a so that is there. Things are sticking right now. But how long do you think this charade will go on?
Well, I would say this charade will definitely go on, continue till the elections that are coming towards the end of the Maharashtra, Haryana, Jharkhand. They will definitely, because you see, the game plan in the opposition camp, or rather, that is what we are hearing from experts who are very tilted, or basically, let's put it, the Congress version of the Godi media and the experts. So, what they are thinking, PD media, they are called, I guess. Okay, what they are basically banking on is that very poor result for the BJP in the assembly elections. And after that, what they're expecting is that the allies will pull out, particularly Nitish Kumar, Chandrababu Naidu, and all, and there is going to be mayhem, and the government will fall inside 1 year. That is the whole. That is what they are banking on. So the basically it is the power of narrative. Now, whether that happens or not, we do not know. But given the situation that is right now, I don't see that happening, frankly. Because if you see the kind of developments that they have taken place, and in fact, if you look at the opposition, and even Sonia Gandhi said, now it is as if he has not, he's continuing as before. The thing is, you see,
You
I mean,
yourself are admitting it.
yes, that is what I think that is the primary problem that the opposition has with the government right now, saying that the government, I mean, Mr. Modi is continuing as if nothing has changed. Well, the thing is that you see, if they thought that he will be changing his policies and positions on certain things, on reforms, or say, for example, matter foreign policy, governance, and all, I think they are totally mistaken. And let's put it this way, when we are looking at people like say Chandrababu Naidu or Nitish Kumar, what is their priority right now? Chandrababu Naidu is not going to get anything by joining hands with the so-called India alliance. All right. The thing is that you see, because that's a very unstable alliance. There is no core. Congress with 99 seats is not good enough. And do you see a Chandrababu Naidu? Of course, he has done it. I mean, desperate he was at that time, I guess. I mean, kowtowing to, bowing down to Rahul Gandhi with his brashness and his troll-like behavior. So anyway, he wants right now, what he wants is money for his state, because he wants to show the world that he can build another Hyderabad or even make that better. So that is what we are anyway hearing, that he is basically looking at this. And what is Nitish? Number one, Nitish will become an even bigger laughing stock if he decides to
Yeah.
change sides again. And apart from that fact, he will have to go and basically listen to Tejashwi Yadav. All right, and Tejashwi Yadav is very clear. He wants to be chief minister. How long will he tolerate Nitish uncle? And now Nitish wants his son to get into politics, and all these things are there. So it does not really serve Nitish's purpose also to ensure to basically leave the BJP or leave the NDA. And if you have noticed, he just recently this Jha guy he appointed, I think, as acting president or something like that. Now he is a very pro BJP guy. He is an Arun Jaitley protege, and so Nitish also does not want to rock the boat. And the thing is, you see, what I'm hearing from the opposition camp is that they are very worried that if the government does not fall inside 1 year, the government is going to continue for 5 years. So what we are going to witness in this next 1 year is that all-out attack, number of lies. I mean, we will be flooded with lies. And the thing is, you see, and so this is a very crucial year that way.
Hmm. That's very interesting. So you said flooded with lies, and that's something very, very interesting to me. I want to ask you, as somebody who's been in the media for this long, media is today playing a very interesting role. Everything that is coming out, which can create sort of a TRP, it is being flashed as breaking slams. These words which are being used. This guy slams that guy. This guy slams. It's like a WWE match. Each guy is just holding their neck and going dhar dhar dhar. And there is a particular media house, I don't want to name this particular media house, but during the time where the b- after the results to the, what do you call, the swearing in, sources tell us Chandrababu Naidu asks for speaker's chair. Sources tell us this. Sources tell us that. All those, and I have those tweets saved with me, by the way. All those tweets were fake. And this is a mainstream
Yeah,
media
yeah.
house.
At that
So,
time, yeah, at that time, yes, even we got to know that, all that speculation, everything was completely fake. Because I have talked to people, I know people who know that this how this thing has been going on. The talks between BJP and Chandrababu Naidu in particular, how they have been going on, and they had tracked everything down to the last detail. So you see, that is one thing that we do not speculate in the Sunday Guardian, at least, that Chandrababu wants this and wants that, because a lot of it is actually planted news, and it's like, say, people have started planting news like, there's a rift between Pawan Kalyan and Naidu.
Chandra,
So what
I know.
happens,
I,
journalists,
that was like stupid.
so
I saw that. I'm like, yeah, pagal ho gaye ho kya?
no, it is what journalists do not always manufacture these stories. These stories are often manufactured by the rival camp, opposition camp, and it is planted. Well, I would say, you see, when it comes to this, when it comes to manufacturing things, the Congress and company, they are very good at it. And I'm sorry to say, BJP till now is not showing any, what should I say, urge to counter the Congress, especially on social media and all. It is well known that Congress is doing a far better job with social media in particular than the BJP. I think
Did
BJP
this
really
social
needs
media
to pull
really
its socks
impact,
up.
ma'am? Did this social media really impact? Because I don't see anybody who switched from the BJP to the Congress because of a social media narrative. I have not seen that. On the ground, the rural areas where Modi actually lost a lot of seats, there has been an impact of lies, because obviously there is not that discourse and there's not the
That
amount of,
reservation thing worked.
yeah, connectivity that people can actually do fact checking and stuff like that. But has social media really playing a role? Because what I'm kind of seeing is that it's more fluff than anything else. It's creating a narrative, it gets busted down. You look at, I'll give you an example. If you see that narrative of the that OTP thing, you remember that OTP,
Yeah,
cell phone mein aaya tha, some guy in Maharashtra and all that. ओहो, इसको तो ओटीपी आ गया सेल फोन के अंदर. मिड डे पब्लिश दैट पोस्ट,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it went,
Okay, that EVM one.
yeah, it went
EVM.
viral for 6 hours and it got busted down so badly. Now the people who raised it didn't have any gains or losses from it, and people who countered it didn't get much out of it. So I don't know how kind of this whole thing is impacting as far as social media is concerned to the urban, not to the rural.
I will tell you something. What happens in these cases is not voters switching from BJP to Congress or Congress to BJP. What ultimately matters is if the voter is coming out to vote or not. That is what matters. And what I would say, in the elections, we saw this loss of percentage. Lot of people did not come out to vote. Of course, it did not help that the
Yes.
election was held at a time in the peak summer when it was temperatures were like 42, 43, 44. I do not know what, I mean, being in government should have give you some advantage, isn't it? So I do not know what kind of confabulations took place. I'm certain the ACI acted on its own. I do not know what ACI, Election Commission of India, at a time when you are trying to increase the vote percentage, why would you stretch your elections all the way up to June? And we
Yeah.
know in North India what a killer heat it can be. I mean, I think that was absolutely insane. So automatically that weather had an effect. Number two, I would say, as I said, complacency. So I think more than the Congress, let's put it this way, more than the voters voting for Congress, what affected BJP was, or not just Congress, other opposition parties, what affected BJP was BJP voters not coming out.
True.
I am told that this happened also in 2004 with Atal Bihari Vajpayee, but at that time the numbers were much lower. This time at least they had pulled up the percentage in UP in particular, 50, 55, 56 and all. In Atal Bihari Vajpayee's time, it was in the range of 40s. he lost the government. But and if you're looking at the opposition vote, well, they played a very, in terms of social engineering in UP in particular, Akhilesh played an excellent game of that Pichra, Dalit, and Alpasankhak. What is called that, PDA combination. That Akhilesh played that game. But I'm not certain whether this is going to work for him later or not,
Yeah.
because now the
Cat's out
D
of the bag.
part of, no, that Dalit part, what has happened is that now there is this guy Azad who is coming up. Now BSP has got a shock. So now they are trying to boo the Dalit and the Alpsankhyak, meaning the Dalit and Muslims. I mean, that is the dream combination for the so-called secularists in India. Dalits and Muslims will vote together and will defeat whoever is opposed to them. And that is what happened also in place in lots of constituencies of UP. The Dalit and the Muslim, they were able to get together, and that is what all this crying, all this. If you look at what has been happening, why was Congress so upset when the BJP brought in the emergency discourse in the parliament? Why were they so upset about it? Because you see, primarily because Congress is trying to project itself as the protector of the constitution that has been written by Baba Ambedkar.
Yeah.
All right, and that is what they believe their key to success with the Dalit voters. But the minute the BJP, and there are lots of people who do not remember anything. There is a whole generation of young voters who do not anything. I mean, for God's sake, there are youngsters who do not even know the name of the president. All right, I mean, they do not know even Ramnath Kovind was a Dalit from belong to a scheduled caste. They do not know the Draupadi Murmu's
President.
name. So
Yeah.
there are lots of people like that. So forget about them even thinking or remembering anything about the emergency. So when somebody comes up and says, "This is what you guys did to the constitution," you basically hurt. You are the first people, and you are the ones who destroyed Baba Sahib, tried to destroy, and during emergency actually destroyed Baba Sahib Ambedkar's constitution. That goes against Congress narrative. All right, so that is what that is why Congress gets so upset about the emergency talk.
Yeah. That's why we saw the aggression. If that, that was a superb move, and I think very few people picked it up. But it did go down to the brass roots. I must tell you this because I spoke to some people in UP. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And they are like, bloody hell, we made a mistake. A lot of people have actually come out and said this. I did speak to a few people of my, friends who are doing stuff like this. And they went back and they said, boss, people have started saying, yaar, ye to galti ho gayi. I've personally received, and I'm going to say this very clearly. I've personally received 17 emails, and I'm nobody, a big nobody, just a guy who spent some time talking to people, nothing else. I have received 17 emails saying, I feel so sad I didn't vote. As a matter of fact, my entire family didn't vote. Why? Because we went for a holiday. We thought Modi ji will win, so theek hai yaar, let's take a risk. So you're spot on as far as all that is concerned. Let's talk about the future a little bit. So the first attack Modi ji has done. We also know that Parliament may they've put in a sort of a show cause notice to Mr. Rahul Gandhi as well, that bossy you've lied, and now the speaker during the budget session will take it up, which is next 10-12 days. So there's a whole lot of tamasha which is being planned from this side as well. I know there is a disqualification plea that some lawyer has also put in. So there's a whole lot which is there in this thing. I don't know whether that will work or not. But as a counter
Mhm.
attack, what do you think the BJP is going to do going forward?
Uh, when you are looking at, you see all these disqualification, etc., these are all bad plans. Sorry, this is not going to
Yeah, yeah.
work. I
It's a
mean, they will
narrative.
play on this thing. No, 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 no. It is definitely not going to work because it is going to feed the narrative about India not being democratic. India is trying to muzzle the. I mean, they will take it to an international audience and it will play internationally. Okay, and in fact, this is so important. I got a call from someone in Canada yesterday, and that person was asking me, how does this, whether this is going to moderate Mr. Modi's anti-democratic credentials and all. So I had to tell him that, that I don't think, whatever you think it's going to happen and all, but I don't think the allies are really bothered about what so-called anti-democratic credentials you are talking about, because they don't see any evidence of that. But you see, this is the message they will take to the ground. And remember, whatever the Congress is doing, it's all about wooing the Dalits. Let's not forget that it's about wooing the Dalits, it's wooing the minorities, the Muslims, because that is what the combination, and yes, the OBCs. So they will try to give an OBC twist to it, the Dalit twist to it, and they will ensure that somehow they will find a message and that it works against the BJP. Now, what should the BJP do? Now, that is something they have to take it on the front foot.
Yeah.
Simple. Without appearing autocratic, which it would make them appear if they start muzzling Rahul Gandhi's voice. Fine, he has set the precedent that people will be shouting when when the Prime Minister, stands up to speak. Fine, give it back. Okay, don't let anyone hear Rahul Gandhi's voice. If he can do it, why are you being so polite? All right. And what are you have got so many young people in your ranks, you have got so many young MPs. Why does always, okay, fine, he's the leader of the opposition. Why don't you allow make the youngsters to talk back to him in the same language or similar language? The thing is, you see, in this way, I would say that Hindu thing worked very well. People who are pro-Congress, and especially in the media, they're saying that very well Rahul Gandhi never made that comment against Hindus per se. He was specifically talking about the BJP. But the very fact that the BJP, the Prime Minister actually took the lead in that, they made it about, you are talking about Hindus, and the whole BJP picked it up. Why did it rattle them so much? Because they have been employing similar tactics. What the Dalit thing they did, reservation, that is what you guys did. You knew very well that you were lying through your teeth. Okay, and the thing is that, so if the BJP pays you back in the same coin or a similar coin, then the whole idea is to make them defend their position. Don't let them get into an offense. Don't let them get into an offensive, go into an offensive. Let them be defensive so that they keep defending their act. That is what BJP should be doing. But I don't think, except for that Hindu thing, BJP has been doing it. And you see, the Prime Minister alone cannot do it. The whole BJP has to do it. You go make it all about offense.
I say this, and I told someone this, I won't name whom. I said, you guys should have a press conference at 8:30 in the morning. Set the narrative for the day. Right?
Exactly.
You guys should decide what people are talking about in the tea breaks. Decide what people are talking about during lunch breaks. Decide what people are talking about in the evening, the minute they leave office, because your press conference must be there at 6 o'clock. Let the other side come out and say, okay, this is a charge on the government. Fair enough. Call a press conference at 6 o'clock. Tell that guy, come here, show your proof. I am sitting, the entire press is sitting. Let them not come for 3 times. They'll stop talking right there. You want a counter?
Let's put it this way. The party has to behave as if it is in opposition and not ruling.
Yeah.
Because it is always, I think that is what really changes the narrative. BJP was so much more active before 2014. They were setting the narrative. Now, in 2024 in particular, what they did was that they allowed the Congress to set the narrative. And I think that is where the main problem is.
Yeah, they took it too lightly.
You decide the agenda. You decide the issue. You take the fight to the other camp. Leave them defending constantly on the back foot. You have to play it on the front foot.
Yes, absolutely. I want to ask you about this so-called Dalit card, right? We see a swift move by Mayawati, right? Whatever said and done, she is suddenly woke up her actions in Tamil Nadu, and I believe, and I don't have any way to say this, I believe she's very pissed with her workers The BJP is damn pissed with her that what the hell, you're supposed to keep these guys with you, because if trust me, if her game would have played, UP was in the bag. It was
Yeah.
clearly in the bag. There was no question. And trust what, you would have got 310, 315 ke beech mein. BJP would have stopped
Hmm.
somewhere or the other. It was in the bag. There was no question about it. She failed right there. And the BJP always banks on her to kind of cut the Dalit vote, right? So she kind of failed there.
Yes.
So I want an opinion on that. And secondly, the so-called Dalit narrative. Why didn't it work in MP? Why didn't it work in Bihar? Why didn't it work in Jharkhand? Why didn't it work in Chhattisgarh? Why didn't it work in Orissa? Why didn't it work in Karnataka? Why didn't it work in, uh, Uttarakhand, Himachal? It didn't work anywhere else. Only two states, which is Maharashtra to an extent and UP. Why only these two?
In UP, here you have to give credit to Akhilesh Yadav. He played
But
a
that
brilliant game.
fair enough. Okay. What about the other places?
You have to give credit. The thing is, you see, I think it is because, uh, yeah, it's a very good question actually. In terms of population, it did not work in these other states.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think uh, in MP, what really helped them, they had just won an election. All right, and that was a landslide. So from there to go into a situation where they lose a chunk of seats, I don't think that was possible. So, and I think that Mamaji effect was still going on over there. So there were that new government, that honeymoon period. The Lok Sabha election took place in that honeymoon period, but in Rajasthan that did not work. That was again, it all, they tried very hard. The opposition tried very hard to divide it along caste lines, and it worked really well in Rajasthan and in UP. The thing is, and I would say, this is where the question of internal problems comes in.
Sabotage.
I don't want to get into that. We have
Yeah,
been
fair
hearing
enough.
a lot of things.
Yeah. There's a
Let's
lot.
not
And a
get
lot of
into
it
that.
been lot has been discussed as well. I think a lot has been happened as a counter to that as well. DMs have been moved, MLAs have been threatened, and this and that. Yogi Saab is in full on action. We can see action in Maharashtra as well. So there's a lot of counter
No,
which
I
is
mean,
happening.
I would say there was a buzz that the UPCM would be removed. And remember, Kejriwal had come out and said that if they are getting these many seats, that UPCM will be removed. I'm told that rumor affected a section of the Thakur
Yeah.
vote. Now,
It,
whether,
it, it did. It did.
and then
It
I
did.
was told in Rajasthan, the Rajput community, I don't know why that Purushottam Rupala comment in Gujarat apparently had a huge effect on the Rajputs of Rajasthan. I don't know why it would happen. So but the thing is that, small things. But the point is, the Congress was very good at taking to amplify these messages and
Correct.
to make everything about caste pride. So
Hmm.
that really helped.
Yeah, and to counter a lot of this propaganda that social media, Dhruv Rathi and all these guys played, it didn't. What really worked was
No, no, no,
ground
no.
pay. They went to people and literally spoke to the panchayats and stuff like that and figured this out. And another thing in Rajasthan, which I came to know is, they went to a lot of people and said, listen, yaar, ये लोग तो वैसे ही जीतते हैं हमेशा 400 आएगा इस बारी आप वोट मत करो ना. So they gave money to people
Hmm.
not to vote. Otherwise, people would take the money and go vote for whoever they felt like, right? This time they gave
Hmm,
money to
hmm,
people.
hmm.
यार don't vote please यार आप मत करो ना वो वैसे भी जीत रहे हैं अभी आप थोड़ा हमारी इज्जत रख लो types. It was like that. It was a very emotional sort of a this thing that was made. Ma'am, the big question I want to ask you, and this is the last two that I have before we get into questions. One, does BJP need to start doing personal attacks? Because I've seen that starting to happen. People like Shahzad and some other people have started hitting out. To which I also ask you, do people like Kangna Ranawat need to be mainstreamed? And I love the woman. Let me say that very clearly. She knows how to play the game, and she knows how to keep it clean, and she knows how to keep the damn thing dirty. I love such people who have a open mind about a fight. When it's a fight, it's a fight, it's a fight, it's a fight. Does BJP need to bring out people like that into the front and lead the attack?
Uh, Absolutely right. You leave your top leaders aside, get your youngsters in the forefront, and let them talk whatever they want to talk. And the thing is, if the opposition, if your rivals are making personal attacks, why would you be just sitting there and say, okay, fine, slap me on my other cheek? You can't do that, can you? I mean, these are times that call for well. The thing is that if there are personal attacks, you have to give it back in the same coin. Look at what is happening in the US. Joe Biden is calling Trump a liar in front of world television. It's a different matter that he forgets, I mean, what he's speaking of, and he's totally starts wandering off and all. But the fact is that personal attacks. I mean, this is a no holds barred fight. And in a
Yeah,
no holds barred fight, you cannot afford to be polite. I don't think the top leaders should get involved, but down the ranks, you have to, as I said, you be in the offensive. You cannot be defensive. Behave as if you are in opposition. Take the fight to their camp, to the rival camp.
absolutely. And the last one I want to ask you, a lot of people say this, and probably this is a little dear to you as well. In two states, which is one is Bengal and second is Delhi. A lot of people talk about 356 as well. I know. 356. They say throw
I
out the
know
damn
Bengal
chief
always makes me, I mean, Bengal, anyway, I can say
Yeah,
so
I
much
know.
more. Bengal, you'll not finish inside 3 shows.
You can continue, ma'am. As a matter of fact, let's do one thing. I'm going to get you back just for Bengal then, so that we hear the unbridled truth. I want to hear that because
And then,
what my
then Mamta Banerjee will not allow me to land in Calcutta after that.
uh, I'll probably talk to you offline about it. But I want to ask you a simple question. A lot of people say get the 356 in, throw the government out. That's the key. Get the president's rule in. This that. It sounds all right. The other day I was doing a show with someone and he put out a counter to that. He said, "Adi bhai, एक चीज सुनो. आप 356 लगा दो. You throw the chief minister out. What do you get out of it? What do you get out of it? For 1 year, you can have this thing on. After that, when you do the election, there will be a sympathy vote for that damn chief minister. Her entire cadre
Exactly.
is intact. Everything will work, and 90% of the time, you will find the chief minister back with a bang. What do you do politically? Again, you've been a political observer, so I want to ask you, what do you do with such kind of things when you want to win a battle? And chief ministers aren't weak people. They're very strong. At the end of it, they're heads of they control the entire machinery. It's not easy. How do you do this?
You build up your base, and that is what exactly Mamata Banerjee is trying to destroy. I think the problem with the BJP, in particular, a place like Bengal, in Delhi at least, Delhi people are more, I would say, pragmatic. If they see that Kejriwal is not working, I mean, I'll tell you, in Delhi, what happens? Freebies are the only thing that keeps Kejriwal, I mean,
Yep.
floating and alive and kicking.
Yep.
Okay, that is the only thing. The thing is, you see, but beyond, if you go and talk to the people, except for his Gichopri vote that is there, uh, there is a lot of disillusionment about Kejriwal among the general public of Delhi. So, I mean, I don't know if the BJP can give a proper face in the next election assembly. I don't know which way Delhi will go. So, Delhi, I think BJP can still manage. Bengal is something I don't think it is happening right now. First of all, BJP needs better leaders over there, better faces, people who are connected to the ground. Of course, Shubhendu Adhikari is doing a lot, and for example, even Dilip Ghosh and all. So, but the only problem is, you see, in Bengal, there is so much when we are talking about misinformation and disinformation, that is like a factory of misinformation and
Yeah. Mm.
disinformation. And more importantly, uh, Bengal vote this time. Listen, I had heard things like from very reliable people. I'm told even the Congress and Prashant Kishore was not wrong when he said that the BJP would get more seats than Mamata Banerjee's government. They were not wrong. That was the buzz. People were so angry and so upset. But I have to believe after those mountains of charges of corruption and all, Everybody went and voted for Didi because they, yes, of course, people vote for her. But the fact of the matter is that people who have been there for MPs for 3 terms and all, they will extremely unpopular candidates. So someone like Mahua Moitro, she is
Hmm.
extremely unpopular. Someone like Shogat Roy, who is extremely unpopular. How did they win? That's fabulous election management by the Trinamool. I am not even getting into the words, say something, I'm not talking about rigging and all. Say, for example, what did they do in many constituencies? Say there are 7 assembly seats in one Lok Sabha seat. Now, what they did, as it happens in Bengal, you know the presence of the Muslim vote is very strong in, I would say, about 100 odd assembly seats or something like that. Say, out of 7 assembly seats, maybe there are 5 seats that are Hindus have a majority and 2 seats that have a Muslim majority. You know, what they did very smartly was that they did not even bother to sometimes campaign in the Hindu areas. All they did, they concentrated all their forces in the Muslim constituencies and ensured about 90-95% voting from that. And because of which, even very, a candidate very unpopular in the other constituencies sailed through because of just the focus that was given on those 2 constituencies. Not
Wow.
sailed through, maybe they in Lok Sabha terms, 40,000 votes, 50,000 votes, but a win is a win.
Win is a win.
Okay, so that is very that is very good election management that happened. Now, so BJP also tried very hard whether this Muslim vote can be split or not. But no, I am told this Ram Mandir, post the Ram Mandir thing, the Muslim vote started feeling very, I mean, they were told that there's an existential crisis for you. That if you vote for the BJP, they will throw you out of the country and all sorts of things that they will say that you are Bangladeshis and all. So they kind of gathered together, and even though they are very, very angry with Mamata Banerjee, even the Muslims are extremely upset and angry. They did not split their votes with that other ISF and all some other candidates, Muslim parties and all. They did not split their votes because they were determined to defeat the BJP. So that is what
That's
happened in
interesting.
Bengal.
2 days ago, there's a statement that came from the chief of the Darul Ulum who said that this is the revenge of the Muslims to the BJP and stuff like that. The big statements. Um, the problem is that when you polarize elections in this particular way, it can go the other direction as well.
Yeah, because
Uh,
2024, I would say, has been I mean, let's put it this way. There is actually a lot of support for Mr. Modi on the ground. It's a different matter, as you said, people went on vacations and did not vote. A lot of them,
yeah.
it was too hot, they did not go out and vote. So a lot of things. So the one of the reasons why the voting percentage fell, but not so much that the BJP imploded completely. That did not also happen. So the thing is, people will be more aware now. People, the BJP itself, let's hope it will be more. It will be proactive. It cannot be
Yeah.
reactive any longer.
Mm. Finally, there's also that factor that you can't really go hardcore on the offensive right now because you're also dealing with the international deep state, which is also
Yes.
after you at the end of it. So you kind of you need to prioritize where your game is. Keep these guys low, deal with them, this, that, all that stuff needs to be done. It's not you just don't have a single enemy. You're fighting a bloody ecosystem which has been there, which is literally ruling the world for the past 80 years. It's not easy. A lot of people fail to kind of understand that. And I'm the guy who's been saying this for months. And what I was told is, "Tu sabko darata hai." But dara nahi raha, bhai. This is the reality. You don't know the kind of money that is going behind. A lot of people say, "Oh, FCRA license cancel हो गया तो चर्च खत्म हो जाएगा, so सब कुछ खत्म हो जाएगा, तो ये भी हो जाएगा, तो जो भी पैसा है जो इधर उधर से आता है सब खत्म." No, 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 no. A lot of the money has moved from the dollars to the crypto. So they are going to find new ways to figure this out. You need to be a step ahead of them.
I have a point here. If you have noticed the change in Mr. Modi's, I would say, approach, he has gone onto the front foot now when it comes to the international audience. He is
Yep.
meeting Putin this week. Okay, this is the
That's
first time I
a snack.
think he's going. Oh,
That's
and
a
you
snack.
should see some of these American think tankers are going apoplectic. On if you go to social media, they are like, what
Yeah.
a disgrace, what a disgrace. The thing is, Mr. Modi was not doing it all these years, but he is now, I don't care. So I think this deep state, he knows, obviously, he knows everything about who is doing what and what they have been trying to do. There is a huge Chinese hand, as for example, this Hindenburg thing that was Mr. Jetmalani talked about. There's a Chinese hand there, which we have kind of suspected it is there. So now it is coming out. And the thing is, that greeting he sent to Taiwan president. He chatted with the
Tibet.
Taiwan new, yes, on social media. So the gloves are off.
Yep.
Okay,
I
so the
always say this.
interesting,
Thank you.
yeah, so the gloves are off. And I don't think he's taking it lying down anymore.
Ma'am, thank
Okay,
you
so the
so
deep
much.
state or
Thank you
whatever,
so much.
the deepest the deepest state will have to be, he's just sending them a message that I don't care. Now you
Yep.
will see, this is my third term and possibly my last term. I don't care. Now I will act. And this is
Thank
what
you
the
so much.
opposition also should be worried about, because now if Mr. Modi decides to play on the front foot, then I think there will be, the gloves are off now. And
Yeah.
that's the way it should be.
And when Modi ji does this to anybody, right? That guy needs to be scared because oh, he normally does this. When he does this, I have seen those people getting screwed after that. So that's just where I think of it. And thank you so much for actually reinforcing something I've been saying for months now, another past month. I said this on the 5th of June that guys, you have no
Mhm.
idea what we went through in terms of this was a
Mhm.
war, right? Take it as a war. This was hard. This was not, you know, this was not that easy. And if you've gone through this and if you brought this out, please look at the factor how the Japanese sold their souls to the Americans to have some peace. They lost a former prime minister shot in the middle of the street. There has been no investigation, no one, nothing. The Australians sold their, what's to the Americans, nothing. So face this, and thank you for reinforcing that point. Guys, let's get into your questions most importantly, and please like this video and let's please hit the likes hard. Realistic conversation with ma'am, I think it's a beautiful one, and I think it's one of the most pertinent uh, you know analysis of what's happening with regards to the politics in this country today. So please like, subscribe, and most importantly, if you can, do contribute towards this channel using the QR code or PayPal, which is there in the links, or the super stickers, super chats. Also, please do follow the Clips channel and our Instagram and Facebook page. You will see some very interesting shorts there that comes out after every video. So please do follow those pages as well. Just to acknowledge the people that have joined the channel: Ajay ji, thank you; Akshay, thank you; Vivek Saab, thank you so much. And Kush ji, thank you so much, three of you, for becoming members. By the way, guys, we have crossed 700 members of this channel, so that's a major achievement. Thank you all for joining up. And Partha ji, sabse pehle, thank you. He says PM said big decisions in the first 100 days, but nothing else yet. Ulta हमारे colonizer UK के communist का 400 पार हो गया.
I think that's a very that's not the right kind of. I mean, don't say about what happened in the UK and all, because if you're looking at in terms of votes, the same thing happened over there. The right vote got divided over there. Okay.
Yeah,
And if you're looking at even the conservatives had a better vote share if you combine reforms vote and this conservative party's vote. And many of them, they voted Labour just because they wanted to punish the conservatives because of their
conservatives.
14 years
Yeah.
anti-incumbency, Boris Johnson, and then, I mean, Rishi Sunak, people were not so much voting against Rishi Sunak, but they were voting against them. So to say Britain went left, that's a social media conversation. Britain has not gone left at all. And if they, and Keir Starmer will understand shortly that what is going to happen. And if you're looking at big decisions in 100 days, let's wait for the budget. Budget is where you will actually get to see the start of the big
Yeah.
decisions.
A lot of people are told me that calm down. let the budget pass through. They want the budget to pass through. They wanted the president's thank you and all that to happen peacefully. They didn't want to go on the offensive at that time. Let these two things happen. Wait and watch after that. So
No, no, and the
cyberpunks are
very fact,
sorry. Please.
no, no, talking to Taiwan, meeting Putin, these are the strong messages that are coming.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cyberpunk साहब, thank you so much. इसे सर को थोड़ा सपोर्ट करो. Yes, 2,50,000 सब्सक्राइबर तक लेके आके सपोर्ट करो. बासु मैम को मेरा नमस्कार. So, okay, Samurai Swan ji, thank you. BJP got a wake up call after this election.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah.
You cannot afford to be complacent, and they were too complacent.
Yeah.
You know what happened to that? All that strategy about on ground strategy, that Panna Pramukh, this, that. Who worked? I am told, I saw a tweet by a senior RSS guy in Mumbai who is saying, I went to my booth to vote. There was not a single BJP person present there. So what was going on over there?
Yeah.
I mean,
let's take this one. This is interesting. Mr. Rao, thank you so much. He says some invested more time in the UK result than here. Okay, be informed, but obsession is not okay. Keep an eye, but the work should be here. Raga's letter to Rishi, a joke. You know that he
I don't
wrote a
get it.
letter. He wrote a letter to Rishi Sunak saying, oh, things happen, losses happen, as if he's won the election here.
It's a joke. Some are more invested in the UK. No, no. The thing is, see what happened with the UK, there is no comparison because in the first, as I said, it was not so much against Rishi Sunak per se. It was primarily against that 5 years of turmoil and the kind of, in fact, Rishi Sunak brought the UK back on track as Prime Minister, but the anti-incumbents against the Conservatives was too high for even Rishi Sunak to be able to.
She says he has to report to the masters. That's why he wrote the letter.
People have a sense of humor.
Yeah. People do, ma'am. I'm glad from anger. See, what happens is it translates from anger to humor to realization. It's a cycle. It's a cycle of life. That's how it is. And I'm glad people are coming to humor with it because after that will be the time of realization and retrospection. So that's very good.
Let's not also forget nobody is anybody's master. I mean, if there is only one master that the world is heading to, it is the Chinese masters. The West is no one's master, not anymore.
Mr. Raul, again, thank you. He says deep state angle is not known to people. I try to tell people around me that they're too woke to listen, and people sane also dismiss it. My own friends are indifferent to it. Yeah, that's true. People don't buy the factor that there's a global power. That's what I said. People call me a conspiracy theorist and I don't know, tu darata hai logon ko. I said, okay, fair enough. ठीक है. Now when this thing happened, I get those same people sending me mails and saying, what happened here? सोनी सिंह जी, जय श्री राम जी, मफलर मैन के बाद अब आजाद का नंबर है क्या?
Meaning, I did not get it.
Ma'am, Mr. Kejriwal was backed by the international, so people are saying, is Azad the new guy? Because Time Magazine feature, suddenly some podcast happening.
Yeah, I think we are too old school to remember who Azad, because I'm thinking of Ghulam Nabi Azad. This is Chandrasekhar Azad.
This is the new, Chandrasekhar Azad Raman, if I may say his full name. So
he still has a long way to go.
People are connecting caste plus this plus Time Magazine plus, that entire game, which is not wrong.
No, actually, if you see what is happening, Akhilesh was very successful with his social engineering. In the Lok Sabha elections, one of the reasons was because this narrative about BJP is going to destroy the constitution and end reservation. Now that it has, Dalits know that it is not happening. Will they stay with Akhilesh or will they start now looking at Dalit leaders? Okay, because the minute they start looking at their own leaders, then what happens to this rival, this Congress and Samajwadi Party in UP? Okay, so that in that context, Azad's that is where the Azad's importance is coming in. whether he is able to break the Dalit vote or not. And he's started already, he's very open about it, that he wants the Dalit and Muslim vote.
Yeah. Factor News Hub, he says caste politics is not social engineering, but the division of Hindus as per caste.
Yes,
Anything
obviously.
you like?
But that is
Yeah.
what these people, that is what social engineering is known as. How you divide people and
Yeah.
unite them on certain issues by calling them that, by saying that you are oppressed, this is going to happen to you, this will happen to you, they will finish you off, you are the marginalized, you are the oppressed people, and you bring them together, that you engineer them together. That is what social engineering is all about.
That's true.
And as I saying that Dalits and Muslims, that is every party, I mean, except for the BJP, of course, every party thinks that is their winning card, to bring
Hmm.
Dalits and Muslims together.
So I have this term that I use. You said Chinese masters. I have this term called the Sino-Wahhabi leftists, SWL, or
Mhm.
the Mullah Marxist Manchurian Alliance. You know,
Yes.
so I have this term that I coined, which is Sino-Wahhabi leftist, where I know that these three kind of work together when it suits them, and you can see that in Israel. You can see that here. You can see that in multiple places. RTG says, I hardly doubt that Modi ji can play dirty politics. Look at Bengal. Even after 303, he hide behind the constitution and do not protect its worker. That's the point that I want to ask you about. Is
Yeah.
that's a problem, right?
Yes. They will have, but then you have to, a lot of it depends on the local leadership. Unless and until your leadership is strong, I mean, if you have a leadership that is kind of hiding, because you see that Delhi cannot help you always throughout.
Yeah,
So
you can't.
it's the local leadership you'll have to build up, and I don't. And there you need strong people. One of the reasons I keep hearing why people have not been voting for BJP in Bengal is that, but this time actually they did, quite a few they did, uh, because of the lack of a face. If they had a face, say someone like, if Annamalai was the Bengali and was in Bengal, he would have attracted a lot of fan following. But then Annamalai is now left politics altogether.
Man, he's just going for a course. He'll be back. कहीं नहीं आता वो.
He will be back, but then there is the opinion about Tamil Nadu is divided, you know.
Yeah, that is there. But
Annamalai,
whatever said and done, they infiltrated Tamil Nadu. That is there, and DMK feels the heat. You can make that out by the statements that they're making. They're feeling the heat. Yeah, ये इस बारी तो बच गए. I don't know what's going to happen the next time. Ramesh ji, thank you. Electoral battle in India has become a fight in the British India with feudal states, with the West taking sides of Islam and playing its part, a struggle to make Bharat from India. Interesting comment. Thank you. I think we always say this, that the fight is between Indians and Bharatiyas. Uh, okay, this is a little offensive, but he says Murk Balak, aka Noob. That's the new social media term for the gentleman, saying he was successful in stopping Ram Janmabhoomi Andolan, even though Ram Mandir is built and SGPC panel strong counter to Rahul Gandhi for the Guru Nanak Mudra remark. This whole religious angle, ma'am, you know, the BJP came out with a very strong counter. They said, you didn't even finish. You're supposed to say that I take this oath on God. You didn't say that, and then you come up with these photographs and this and that. The Muslims hit back, the Sikhs hit back, the Hindus are hitting back. Is this over aggression taking a step too far?
way too far, if you ask me. And the thing is, you see, with all those, in fact, I wrote about this, saying that when Rahul Gandhi starts talking about Hinduism and Hindu philosophy, it sounds like Instagram sound bites, Instagram reels. That is pop philosophy. Okay, that is not actual philosophy, that is pop philosophy. Like the way the influencers talk, and they give, Shivji keeps the Trishul behind his back so that he cannot pull it out, and Shivji as a symbol of peace. For God's sake, hasn't he heard about the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar? The
Nope.
creator, the preserver, and the destroyer. Didn't Mahadev destroy the world? From where it again? So hasn't he heard about these things? Okay, I mean, even with my limited knowledge of Sanatan Dharma, I know about these small things. I've never in my life heard about why is the Trishul placed behind one's shoulder, because that he. So I mean, so that is what, anything goes. He feels like saying, and he thinks that is great philosophy. Uh, so that is a fundamental problem with whatever he should not be talking about Hinduism. And also, basically, I mean, he's very good at being a brat. Basically, middle-aged man become trying to behave like a brat. He should just be that. Let's not go into things that are in depth, because that
Yeah.
I do not think he has the understanding of it. Again, I'm saying I'm very frankly disillusioned with the way he performed. I was, being somebody who truly believes in democracy, I wanted, fine, if you have got the opposition, you need a strong opposition in parliament, and you need to be constructive. But the way he behaved, it was as if the government does not have any legitimacy, and it is they who have won the power, and he is the one who will decide how the government will run, how the parliament will run. I thought that was very, very,
And,
I mean, shame,
and it's not
matter
an
of
act.
shame,
It's
if
not
you
an
want
act.
to.
It's not an act. You saw Supriya Shinate going, I'm like, what? You lost. You're going like
Yeah,
that. And I'm like, oh God, what's wrong with these people? You've lost.
yeah, that
If
is
I
what
got
Mr.
those kind of
Modi
marks,
has
my
been rubbing
dad
it
would have,
in.
yeah, I mean, my dad would have smacked my face in the wall if I got these kind of marks in my exams. You lost. It's a
No,
fail.
but you see, their supporters are feeling very energized. So that is why they are doing it.
Ma'am, but these fake energies, it's like drinking a Red Bull. It goes up, and the faster it goes up, the faster it falls. I ask you this: do you think Mr. Rahul Gandhi has the potential and the energy to sit through all the meetings that a leader of opposition needs to? I think Mr. Modi should just entangle him in 50,000 meetings. ये डर जाएंगे वहीं पर ही.
Yeah,
वो
that's a
कैबिनेट
good
कमिटी एंड
strategy.
सिक्योरिटी की मीटिंग है. अच्छा, अभी इसकी मीटिंग है, अभी उसकी. मेक हिम वर्क फॉर ब्लडी 18 hours a day. 3 days later he'll say, भैया माफ करो, मैं जा रहा हूँ यहाँ से. I can't deal with this. It's not going to happen.
Calm karma.
Yeah. Last three questions, ma'am. Colonel Just Sekon Saab says, Rahul should be allowed to speak, and when we can sort out the issues one by one, the government is now doing anything wrong. It'll be good goal on the issues. Self goal, sir. If I don't know if you mean that, I think it'll be a self goal
So
because
basic,
what do you say,
I
ma'am?
don't understand. I did not understand.
No, he's saying let him speak as much as he wants to. You can counter him, but most of these things that he's saying are self goals.
Yeah, they are. But the thing is that I'm going to say BJP has to be very proactive in countering him. Just use all your young MPs to counter him.
Yeah. Here is an emotional comment. Shalini ji says, imagine if Rahul Gandhi had brought the Quran to the parliament and made a mockery of it. Would it be tolerated? Wake up Hindus and stop tolerating nonsense.
And
That's true.
very right. This is absolutely correct.
Yeah.
He wouldn't dare to do that.
This is a little bit of a thought that'll leave you with. I have one question to Joyeeta Basu. He says, what if Ram Mandir was built 1 year prior to Lok Sabha elections? Then BJP might have got some time to counter the false narrative.
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with Ram Mandir as such. And the thing is, perhaps, in fact, what Ram Mandir did was that it made voters complacent. It made leaders complacent.
Yeah.
So that is the only thing that Ram Mandir did. If it had an impact that way, that was people became very complacent. And Ram Mandir was built whether a year back or not. The thing is, no, ultimately, if your udder is not working on the ground, if your people are not bringing out voters, if your election strategy is being bested by your rival, which Akhilesh Yadav did, we have to admit it. If you have not figured out how the seat should be handled and all, then this was bound to happen. If you are not willing to see through the fact that there is serious anti-incumbency against many of your MPs, don't expect that the voter is going to be so gullible that they will vote for even a lamppost just because Mr. Modi is there. You
And
have to
last,
work for the people on the ground.
yeah, thank you, Karan Shardaji. He says, Sardaji, he says secular Hindus are the enemies of Hindu in India. Well, strong comment, but one could take it and one could argue against it. But at an emotional level, you really do think so, because this whole secularism has actually got us this thing. I always call it's the battle between secularism and inclusionism. India or Bharat has been an inclusive country rather than a secular country. We've imbibed
Mhm.
other this thing rather than allowed other things. So that's something that I would say. Thank you so much, ma'am. This was fantastic. Let me just say this. I look forward to chatting with you. This is the second time, and I hope this is not the second. It's the second time of many to come. This was a very realistic discussion. Let me just say this. And always a
Yeah.
pleasure reading the newspaper, the Sunday Guardian. Love the columns, especially on international affairs. Keep the good work up and keep us enlightened as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Adi, for inviting me for this show. You're doing a great job. And I'm very happy that I'm able to speak frankly over here. Okay, this is
You are.
not always possible.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.